So very good morning. Endomy number 19. Are you there?
Good morning, sir.
Hello. Am I
Yes,
audible?
yes, sir.
Okay. So we will start our lab within the 2 minutes.
Okay, sir.
Hope so you are getting the screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the another experiment we discuss about the FFT. FFT is called the fast Fourier transform. So I think we discuss about the Fourier transform as well as the Fourier series where you can generate the square wave using the Fourier series. So these are the two different transform which may be utilized for the conversion from time to frequency. So whenever you have some time domain signals, if I want to represent in a frequency domain, you can use the Fourier series as well as the Fourier transform. Just wait. So this two algorithm, Fourier series as well as the Fourier transform, will be utilized to convert from time to frequency. So if you see, the Fourier transform is basically applicable for the signal which is nothing but a non-periodic in nature, and the Fourier series will be utilized for in a periodic nature. So when you are converted this time to frequency, you are taken the samples. So number of samples you are taken, it's more. So definitely shape of the signal is recovered back when we are reconstruct the signals back. But whenever the samples, whatever the samples you are taken, it may be less, then it may be slightly difficult to reconstruct the back. So based on this one, there is introduced the term which is considered discrete Fourier transform, DFT. So DFT as well as the DTFT are also the similar kind of your uh, conversion from time to frequency, but the difference in terms of the Fourier transform means whatever the samples you are taken from the time domain signals, from this particular samples, if I am mentioning the discrete in nature, so this is called the discrete time Fourier transform, DTFT. So DTFT is nothing but a what, you are just taken the number of samples which is in discrete signals, for the discrete signals, so it is called the DTFT. and the DFT is nothing but a whatever the discrete samples you are taken, from these discrete samples only you are taken a sum of the samples from the discrete in nature, then it is considered as a DFT, discrete Fourier transform. So the DTFT and the DFT equation you can see over here, which is almost similar to the uh, Fourier transform equation. X of n is equal to is a discrete signals, and its Fourier transform x of e raised to j omega. And how you can convert it? X of j omega is a summation of n is equal to minus infinite to infinite. X of n is the discrete signals, and e raised to minus j omega n. So it's ohm is basically you are mentioning in terms of the Fourier series frequency domain analysis. So same you can compare with Z transform as well as the continuous time Fourier transform x of omega. So these all are the conversion which may be required from conversion from time to frequency. But the limitation is when you are deal with a conversion from time to frequency, it requires some uh, time to convert the signals in a original form. Like you are reconstruct the back signals for the whatever the samples you are taken. So from the reconstruction signals you require some kind of a processing unit, and what are the number of samples you are taken more, so definitely so complexity of this particular uh, system will be more, because uh, when you are convert the back it requires some kind of processing system. So that's why this DFT signals or the DTFT signals will be introduced, which is called the fast Fourier transform. So for the Fourier transform you can see over here, you are getting the PPT on your screen. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the representation of the DFT signals, where the equation is x of k is equal to summation of n is equal to 0 n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n, and they are multiplied with e raised to minus j omega n j omega k divided by its number of samples you are taken. And similar, if I am to reconstruct the back signals, where means it is a reconstructed the discrete signals, then it's a summation of n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 your discrete signals x of k, and they are multiplied with a positive term e raised to j omega a k divided by n, and we divide all the series with a number of samples you are taken. So in this case n is nothing but a what, how many samples you are taken. Capital is nothing but how many samples you are taken from this particular uh, any kind of your continuous domain signals. So whenever you compute this kind of a conversion from time to frequency and discrete to this discrete form to the further discrete form, which is nothing but a discrete Fourier transform, then they are assuming some kind of a coefficient value, where omega is the coefficient value, and this coefficient value which is multiplied over here with respect to the any one of the possible discrete signals, then you can easily identify the fast Fourier transform. So I think these are the representation of the coefficient values omega n, and you can put the number of n is equal to 0 and n is equal to 1, and suppose you are taken the at least 16 samples, means for the one continuous domain signals you are taken the 16 samples. So first you can take the 16 minus 0, 16 minus 1, 16 minus 1, and for individual you can find out this coefficient value, and you can multiply it over here. These are the two different methods for the conversion, decimation in time domain and decimation in a frequency domain, but right now we are not interested. The only this coefficient value is slightly modified over here, but the equation is almost similar to the DFT. X of k is your DFT signals, where n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n, and your coefficient value which is multiplied with omega n nk. Now just see the complexity in terms of the mathematical equations, either for conversion from time to frequency or maybe reconstruct the back signals, either DFT or maybe a reverse back signals, because discrete signal is multiplied with omega n term, and somehow you have to solve it, and you have to repeat this procedure for the at least number of samples you are taken. But suppose you are taken the at least n is equal to 16 or n is equal to 32 or maybe n is equal to 64, then the complexity becomes a more. So it may be slightly difficult to handle. So that's why there is a term which is introduced, which is called the fast Fourier transform. So I'm directly going to the fast Fourier transform. Fast Fourier transform is similar to the DFT, but the representation is in a such a way that it will be easy to solve the your frequency domain signals. Sorry, time to frequency domain signals. So for that you require some kind of a structure which is called the butterfly structure. You can see over here, this is the butterfly structure. Butterfly structure is nothing but a which signals you are taken as an input, and according to the number of samples you are taken, the coefficient value is multiplied.
Sir?
So this representation which is considered as some kind of a butterfly structure. So on your screen you can identify the butterfly structure over here.
Sir, it's not visible.
Yes,
So not visible the structure.
you are not getting the screen.
No, sir.
Just wait. Now,
Yes, sir.
okay. So let me discuss this kind of a structure, which is then discrete in time domain and discrete in frequency domain. So you can see over here, suppose you are taken the DFT, which is the 8-point DFT, and you can solve this in terms of the butterfly. It means it is the fast Fourier transform. Then you can take the input is any one of the discrete signals, and this discrete signal which is multiply with this omega n term. This omega n is already derived from this mathematical equations. You can see over here, omega n is nothing but e raised to minus j 2 pi divided by n, and for the different value of the k you can find out this coefficient value. It's very easy to find out, and but it requires some mathematical equations. So each and every stage you are just multiply with this omega n raised to r term. So this is the one way to multiply, this is the second way to multiply. So this structure which is considered as a butterfly structure, you can easily identify it over here how they multiply the structure. Suppose you are deal with some kind of a 8-point DFT. DFT means you are taken the stage is 3, because 2 raised to 3 it means is 8. Suppose you are taken the 4-point DFT, then it is only 2 stage. And suppose you are taken the 16-point DFT, it means it is an n point, whatever the n point DFT algorithm. 2, 4, normally you're preferring the 4, 8, 16, 32, it's a 2 raised to n term. But n is nothing but about the number of samples you are taken for the particular signals. Okay. So for the 8-point DFT, it means once continuous signals, if I want to process it, then you have to take the at least 3 stage for the FFT. Clear? For the same way, if I take on the second discrete signals, second amplitude of the discrete signals, then you require the 3 different stage. For if I deal with a n-point DFT, it means it is an 8-point DFT. If it is a 16-point DFT, it means you require the 4 different stages. Okay. So the difference in terms of this one is number of the stages are increasing, so definitely system become more complex. But the advantage is reconstruction is very easy to deal. Reconstruction of the signal is very easy to. So on your screen you can easily identify over here, this is our 8-point DFT, and this is in the left hand side there is one discrete signal is there 04261537, and according to the n-point DFT, then you can design these 3 stages. If it is a 16-point, you have a 4 stages, and according to the stages they are just multiply the term. Okay, this is basically a similar equation which we discussed over here, but they are mentioning this equation in terms of the graphical representation. Basically you can see this one is x of n is your discrete signals, and they are multiplied with e raised to minus j omega n k, but this e raised to minus j omega n term they are multiplied with some kind of a coefficient value, and this coefficient value will be find out according to the number of points you are taken. N point, 4 point, 8 point, 16 point, maybe 32 points. Yeah. So this is the coefficient value you initially are multiply with this particular discrete signals. At the same time, this minus was indicated because there is e raised to minus 1 term is there. the term which is multiplied with the e raised to minus j 2 pi n. So that's why there is a minus 1 term is there. So for individual stage you can find out the individual answer, and at the last you are getting the final discrete signals, which is nothing but a DFT. So this structure, it's basically butterfly structure, but this is called the fast Fourier transform. Now you can see what exactly you are getting when you are converted in a time to frequency domain signals. For this particular signals, discrete signals you are taken, and if you are converted in a frequency domain using the either DFT or maybe FFT, then you may be getting this kind of a graph. This graph is nothing but a frequency versus your amplitude. So whatever the fundamental resonance frequency is there, it will be generate the sharp cutoff at a high amplitude, and rest all the frequencies are zero. It's a nearer to the zero, it's not a zero. So how you can apply for any particular discrete signals using the MATLAB? So how you can do it? First of all, you can take the any kind of your signal which is the continuous domain signals. Either you can take the sine wave, or either you can take the cosine wave. So in this case, you can see over here, first of all, you are taken the n, which is vary from 0 to 29. You can take any values, but somehow you have to find out this cos domain signals, cosine signals, and you can also plot it. And from this cosine signals, you are taken how many samples? It's a 13 samples. It's a 13 samples. Overall, you are taken the 13 samples for this particular signals. Now there is a one direct command which is available for the FFT, or otherwise you can apply the DFT mathematical equation, but it becomes a more complex. So instead of this one, you can use the direct command which is available in a MATLAB. So you can see this is our FFT, fast Fourier transform function, where the input is your cosine signals and the number of samples you are taken, which is nothing but a you are increasing like a n point DFT. N point means it is 2 raised to 4, sorry, 2 raised to 5 and 2 raised to 6. So number of samples for the different values like a and 2 raised to 3, 2 raised to 4, 2 raised to 5, 2 raised to 6. And according to this FFT, they are just find out the magnitude plot, because it gives me the magnitude as well as the angle. So you are just plotting the graph of the magnitude, so you can easily identify over here the ABS command. Now you have to just plot it. But see, whenever you plotted this particular graph, you somehow identify where exactly your frequency is represent. Because if I just plot the graph for this particular x1 signals, then it may be possible whatever the range you are getting, it may be a not represent your output signals. So for that they are setting the range. How you can set the range? Starting with 0, the number of samples you are taken is 64 minus 1 divided by it's a 64. So it gives me a graph which is located in a proper location, and you have to just plot this graph. Now you can see the output over here. I'll just copy paste this same program. MATLAB screen is visible.
No, sir.
Okay, just wait. Now,
Yes, sir.
okay. So I'm just taken right now the number of samples you are taken is 64. It means it is how many stages are there for 64? How many stages are there for the FFT? Can I consider 6 stages?
Yes, sir. 6 stages.
Yeah, it's a 6 stage. So you can see over here what they are doing. Initially they are taken the one cosine wave, but we are not plotting this cosine. We directly plot the FFT, or you can also try to plot it the cosine signals. It's very easy. For this cosine signals, you are taken the number of sample is approximately 64. It means you are if you want to solve using the graphical method, then you are getting is approximately 6 different stage of the DFT. Okay. So this graph is indicate one kind of a frequency domain representation where you are getting the so many cross line is there. So cross line is indicate the number of samples you are taken. So when you are taken this n is equal to 64, then you can identify now it is a sine wave. Sorry, it may be cosine wave or it has some particular frequency, but you cannot exactly identify the shape of the signals. Now if I increase the number of samples over here, instead of the 64, suppose you are taken the 128. And you can verify the graph. All of you have seen the difference? No, this graph is not n is equal to 64. This graph is for n is equal to 128 because I'm changing the value from n1 is equal to 64 to 128. So if I compare with a 64, you can easily identify the perfect sine wave you are getting or perfect representation of frequency domain. Or similar way, I'm just comparing the same thing. Okay, just wait. So we have taken 64, 128 and 256 simultaneously, so you can easily identify the difference in terms of the samples you are taken. Or if you are getting the graph,
Yes, sir.
so you can see over here n is equal to 64. The shape is not a perfect one if you reconstruct the back signals. But whenever the number of samples you are increasing, definitely it becomes a more going to the in a sine wave or maybe the cosine. It means your reconstruction is very easy if I'm taken the 256. So this is the first one where you can find out the output in terms of the FFT. So instead of this course, now it's a request to all the students, instead of the course, you can take the sine wave, you can take the samples is for starting with a 16, 128 and 1024. And just repeat, take the sine wave, take the number of samples or endpoint DFT starting with 16, 64 and the 1024. So you can easily identify the difference in terms of the 16 samples, 64 samples and 1024 samples. So this is the same program, but they are using the some FFT shift to identify where exactly the location of your signals, and you can see the frequency spectrum of this particular signal. So you can see the output for the program, and we are taken the 2048 samples. So basically what is this? This is the frequency representation. Remember it, whenever you are taken this x-axis, normally if our basic habit is for the time domain signals, x-axis is your time and the y-axis is your frequency. And for the frequency domain, x-axis is your frequency and the y-axis is your amplitude. Yeah, but in this case they are taken the x-axis is the frequency divided by is the fs, the sampling frequency which you are taken. So that's why they are getting the constant values. Okay, you can say it's an for 0.5 and 0.5 is not a frequency, but they are the constant value. They are taking the ratio of the f divided by fs by using the fft shift command. So any doubt in this fft? Any doubt? Now already we discussed the Fourier series, how we can generate the square wave from the Fourier series or Fourier transform. This part is discussed in a lab session. Hello, can you tell me the in a lab session we have discussed the Fourier transform or the how we can generate the Fourier square wave using the Fourier series? Okay, continue with your work. I'll be taking the attendance after the 30 minutes. Anyone of you are completed? $26.
No, sir.
23. 31. 31. Okay, just continue with your work. I will be taking your attendance. Okay, your lab is finished now. You may leave from this meeting.
Thank you, sir.